Greetings, chess players, and welcome back to the free winter break chess camp. My name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings, and for the camp today, we are. What did I just do with my windows? Here we go. For the camp today, we're going to let me minimize this. We're going to be looking at games from the FIDE World Rapid Championship that just concluded in Poland. There is an interesting conclusion to that, and I may do a daily chess musings about this issue in the near future. But just to briefly explain what happened, there was a four-way tie for first place, but because of the tie-break structure for the event, two players were chosen to play in the championship playoff, and the other two players were excluded from the playoff to see who would be the World Rapid Championship. Magnus Carlson actually being one of the two players that was excluded from it, even though he had exactly same score. I mean, there were four guys tied for first place. So suffice to say, I'm not a fan of that. Let me try and scoot this window out of the way. I'm not a fan of that system. Let me check my. Oh, good. That's still fine. All right, great. Not a fan of that tie-break system, but the players did agree to the conditions for the tournament before participating. And usually at these things, there's also a players' meeting, which is optional to attend, but it's always good to attend the players' meeting, by the way. The players and coaches meetings at any of these tournaments that you may be playing in, always attend, because they'll go over some of the rules that maybe are specific for the event. And so you want to know that stuff. All right, so the first game we're going to look at from the World Rapid 2021 is, let's see, it is Tigran L. Petrosian, not the world champion Tigran Petrosian, who is passed away. No, he did not come back to life to play in this. This is Tigran L. Petrosian. I met Tigran at a chess camp a few years ago that I ran in the Glendale area. And got to work with him at the chess camp. He's a great teacher. And then Christian Stuvek Holm. Too bad there's no S on the end of his name, then it would be Holmes, like Sherlock Holmes. But it's just Holm, Holm. And let's see, what do I have in my notes? Black's move, position after Black's 25th move. All right, let's go there. All right, so in this game, Black just plays Rook A to D8. And my question for you guys is, what would you play here as white? What did Tigran play here as white? You can go ahead and say your answer in chat, and I'll give you, a moment or two. I know there's a delay. So during the delay, let me remind you, my name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. I am a chess coach from California. I've been coaching chess a very, very long time. And I get very excited about these kind of events where we can learn from the greatest players in the world. And let's see, I still don't see any answers in the chat. So I will go ahead and proceed. What Tigran played was Rook takes E8. And this is, obviously a check and a fork, setting up Rook takes E8. And now we've got this cool fork with the knight, right? The knight goes to D7, where it will be forking the king and queen. And so, yeah, that seems like it should be winning for white. Nice, easy, simple fork tactic. Let me rewind. So check. Always look at your checks, captures, threats. Rook moves over, fork, right? But there's something slightly more to this. You could go wrong here. You could go very wrong here. For example, in this game, Christian Stuvik Holm played King F7, which is probably the best move he could possibly play. And now, what do you guys think? I mean, take the queen? Well, Tigran didn't take the queen, and I'm going to show you why. He played Rook Takes, which is the correct move. If you take the queen, and you know, this is fascinating. It led up to a king-queen fork, but if you take the queen immediately, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some problems because black has a check, right? And you only have two options here, blocking with the queen or the bishop. The bishop would be preferable, of course. And then black could take the knight. So now it's not so cut and dry. It's not such a cut and dry endgame at all. With this bishop being pinned, this knight being very nicely placed. So what Tigran played was he didn't take the queen, of course, because he didn't want to allow black to play that check. So he played rook takes e8, and black resigned here. Christian Stuvik resigned, and the reason is, I mean, obviously if you take the rook, then you're going to lose your queen, right? I mean, that's pretty obvious. But black could move their queen out of the threat for a moment at least. I mean, I suppose we could follow up with f4, threatening it again, and then, but then it really gets messy with like rook f8. The knight supporting the rook goes to f8, and then let's see. We could force another trade here. We could even play like knight e5, forking, which would force bishop takes e5, fx e5, and things become clearer and clearer for white to be winning this endgame because they have an extra rook. So I thought it was nice to see like a basic. Here's the basic forking idea: setting up the fork using checks, captures, and threats. So check, there's the fork, right? But then the cool part about this is not taking the big prize right away, not taking the queen right away. I think, especially given the fact that this is a rapid event, I think a lot of us might have done that. All right, so now we're going to move. No, I don't want to save my modifications. We're going to move to our second game from the FIDE World Rapid Championship. This game is also, let's see, also round one. And we're going to skip ahead to black's 47th move. So right near the end, we're looking at the game Marcel Kanarek versus Fidel Corrales Jimenez. I said FIDE because FIDE is like, you know, it's the FIDE World Rapid Championship. Fidel Corrales, I believe he trained at Webster University under Susan Polgar not too long ago, and I also believe he's a new father. I hope I'm not getting my players confused, but you know, I through Facebook and whatnot, you know a little bit more about players than we used to, about their personal lives. All right, so 47. Black just played 47 bishop f6. And what should white play? What do you think? What should white play here? I'll give you guys a moment or two. I'll show you what was played and maybe what should have been played. Some hidden gems from the FIDE World Rapid Chess Championship. Anybody? Okay. So, what should have been played? Let me show you what was played first, actually. I'm surprised that Marcel took this. I don't know if he was in time trouble or what the case might be, but he took the pawn. And immediately, the first thing you would think to play as black would be rook d8, in which case the queen's under attack. And to make matters worse, once the queen moves out of the way, then you're starting to get some dangerous things set up. Dangerous possibilities, right? The way these pieces are organized, especially the two rooks and the queen, there are some definite checkmate possibilities. So you're giving black the initiative by taking that pawn, and that initiative brings them very close to checkmate. So you say he saved his queen, Marcel did, and then as it turns out, either move would be acceptable here, rook d1 or rook h5. But Fidel played rook h5, which makes perfect sense. I mean, you're attacking the h1 square twice now, right? And then let's see. White played queen e6 check, to which black just calmly stepped out of the check. And now, how can white deal with the threats? The checkmating threats. I mean, how do you stop? How do you stop that? Answer is there's just really not a good way of doing it. You could play, say, queen takes f6, but then you're losing your queen and just kind of slowing down the inevitable. But yeah, it was very nice. Let's see. So some very nice tactics here. So queen, that pawn was clearly poisoned. That pawn was clearly poisoned. Because once you take it, black gets the initiative, has all these fantastic threats. And let's see. So what should have white played? Instead of taking the pawn, what should white play here? Any ideas? I mean, there's a couple options, right? One that comes to mind right away would be just like sticking the knight into the hole there, because then the queen and rook aren't going to be combining. But that makes me a little nervous because your queen is left on the same diagonal as the bishop, so the rook can move out of the way with a discovered attack. So actually, I think queen, maybe d2 or d1. And I'm going to go with d2 is what I would do, because then you got all your pieces, big heavy pieces, coordinated defensively nicely. But queen d1 would also be fine. Black could, I don't even know. I mean, white's just fine. White's just fine here. I mean, you could, if I was black, I might play h5. Maybe that's obviously threatening h4, further exposing things. And then knight f1 to defend g3. And then maybe h4. And then rather than, well, I mean, you clearly wouldn't take. What you might do here as white is maybe rook to c3, attacking the queen, which indirectly supports g3. But long story short, had white played queen d2, they're doing okay. They're doing okay. They're still there. But getting greedy, taking that pawn, could be under time pressure. I didn't look at the clocks. It certainly could have been under time pressure, but that, you know, it's just a poison pawn. The rook's going to gain initiative, gain attack, and black has a mating attack. All right. Let's move on to game 3. Nope, not going to modify. Let's move on to game 3. Let's see, what do I have here? We've got Rafael Lubzinski versus Isin Magami. And this was also from round 1. And position after white's 44th move, I have in my notes. So let's take a look. And the question I have for you guys is, what is black's best move? What is black's best move? Let me go back a couple moves so you can see it. All right, so yeah, white advances. But white advances, black advances the pawn to g6, which is a good move. And then white's rook is pinning the pawn and stopping the promotion, guarding against the promotion, right? So what is black's best move here? What is black's best move? Let me get rid of these arrows so you can think clearly. I'll give you a moment or two. While I'm doing that, my name is Chris Torres. I am a United States Chess Federation Correspondence Master. And I've been coaching chess for about a quarter century in California. I spend hours and hours and hours every day teaching chess. In fact, I'm reaching kind of the end of my energy for the day. I'm a little lower energy than I would like on this broadcast, so bear with me. It's been a long day, even though it's only 1:18 p.m. Pacific time. All right. So the cool move here is, even though white seems to be holding down the fort with that rook on a3, just promoting it, the pawn, and that's what was played. Isin Magami found that move. Then, of course, well, white resigned, but, you know, had play continued, then, you know, white's going to take, right? But then fork, right? Isn't that pretty? I thought so. And then white's king has two choices. Probably running to the side is better because, yeah, and then, well, that's checkmate. Could go here, obviously, and then, yeah, so running to the left side is better. And then let's see, black could play g5 right away. Black's got the extra bishop. Play g5 right away. White could play f5, try and avoid trouble. But then this is a runaway pawn. The e5 pawn is now a runaway pawn. White could play f6. Doesn't matter. We've got a bishop guarding down there. I drew the arrow incorrectly, but you get the point. The bishop is guarding. So black could just play e4. If they want to stay alive a little longer, make us do that, that's fine. E3, I mean, it's just coming, right? There's nothing they can do to stop. In fact, there's nothing they can do to stop the pawn from promoting and checkmating, actually. That too. Not only can they not stop the pawn, but it will be checkmate when the pawn promotes. I mean, it's going to be checkmate, right? Yeah, very, very nice. So the cool position here was it seemed like with White's last move, they were holding down the fort. It seemed like they were going to be okay, but under closer inspection, they were not so hot. And let me move my phone away because somebody's calling me and I don't need that kind of distraction right now. All right. So cool tactic from Isin at the World Rapid Championship. I like it. Way to go. And now we're going to move to our next game, a name that should be quite familiar to us. Jan Nepom Nishi. You remember the guy who lost the World Championship, Classical World Championship to Magnus Carlson. And he's a terrific gentleman the whole time in the press conferences and stuff. I was quite impressed with his sportsmanship and just his easygoing nature. I don't think I would have been as polite with some of the questions as Jan was. Tremendous respect. And not only was he, just polite and wonderful during the World Championship, even though Magnus really, just destroyed him in the games, right? But he remained composed, and here it is, just like, a couple weeks later, and he's in Warsaw, Poland, playing in another big event. So he put himself back together, and here he is. Let's see what we got. So this was a really good, well-played game, the whole game. But we're gonna go to Black's 34th move, and I really like what happens here. All right, so Black's 34th move, and Jan is white, and he is playing Bartosako. Jan Nepom Nishi. All right, so Knight F5, and then Bishop F8. Now that's what Bartos played, and Jan here is going to start. Obviously, this is an interesting situation, and what Jan comes up with for his plan is to get his queen to the 7th rank, which makes a good amount of sense, right? Given the knight and the queen on g7, and that's why Bartos put his bishop on f8. But by moving the queen, it allows Black to push this pawn forward, right? So e4 is played, and then Jan plays Rook d7. So now he's got 2 things at the 7th rank. This is quite an exciting double-edged game. And then e3. So now this pawn's just 2 squares away from checkmating, right? Because the queen is guarding the escape square, taking the Luft away from White's king. So Jan plays check. And then obviously not bishop takes f8 because then queen would take, right? Check. King has to go back. And now knight takes e3. What's going on there? Well, Jan realizes, and he's, obviously he saw this, further back than right now. But if the black queen were to take the knight, then his queen could come and say checkmate. So that's nice. And then a4 is what black plays, which does it keeps white boxed in over here. Let's see, and then knight d5. The knight's coming back around to cause more problems. Rook d8. Now this is serious. This is where I wanted to pause. With rook d8, the knight is obviously attacked twice, but behind the knight, it's pinned to a checkmate, right? It's pinned to a checkmate. So very serious situation. Very serious situation for Jan Nepomniachtchi. But he had this one all figured out. What do you think he plays as white here? What do you think he plays? Some highlights from the World Rapid Championship in Warsaw, Poland. This was from round 2. I'll give you guys a moment or two. What would you do here as white? The threats are real. The threats are dangerous. What would you do here as white? Well, what Jan does is he plays Rook d7, which doesn't look so great, right? It looks like, at first glance, it looks like, well, you're just going to lose the rook and your queen's under attack. But let's see what really happens. So yeah, he loses the rook, the queen's under attack, but queen takes. Obviously, if queen takes here, then knight's going to take and say check, right? That's cool. That's cool. This is, you know, just a really neat, nice, pretty tactical conclusion to this game. So Bartos plays queen e1 check. King has to go to a2. Now it can because the queen's not guarding the Luft anymore. Queen comes back to e5, and then knight takes b6, queen e3, queen d5 check, king h8, and then knight takes a4. And now, because of those nice tactics, white's got this one easy. This one's in the bag. His king is safe. Black's king, not so much, right? Black's king's exposed. White has 3 extra pawns, passed pawns. Don't ask me why that arrow drew like that. We don't want that like that. White's got 3 passed pawns plus 3 on 2 over here. But yeah, having a safe king versus exposed king and the 3 passed pawns, yeah, black resigned. But let's go back and look at the key tactical plays here again. So all the way back here, Bartos sees the possibility of queen to b7, teaming up on g7, so he brings the bishop back ahead of time. Very, you know, very wise play. But watch what Jan does here. Now this, it's just accurate. It's pretty. Right here, after he plays the rook takes h7, all that stuff, right here he can take the pawn because the queen, black's queen can't take without being checkmated. And then bringing the knight back around. Now you got this problem. But again, black can't play queen takes queen here because knight takes f6. So stepping out, saying check, but there goes the pawns, right? And then white's got this one easy. So Jan Nepomniachtchi, wow, what a fabulous game that was. I really enjoyed that. Another name we're going to recognize. We're going to Game 5 of the games that I were wowed by. We've got Fabiano Caruana, the top guy in the United States. He also played in a World Championship match against Magnus Carlson. So the last 2 guys in a row played and were unable to defeat Magnus, but made their way all the way to the biggest match in the world. And Fabiano is playing Nicholas Theodoro. And let me see what I have in my notes. It says position after black's 26th move. So let's see. Position after black's 26th move. Okay. So black just played queen takes e4. What do you think white should do? What did Fabiano do? Fabulous Fabiano. What did he do? I'll give you a moment or two to think about this. What is white's best move here? Black just played queen takes e4. I thoroughly enjoyed Fabiano's Caruana's commentary during the World Championship match. I've had a chance to go back and watch the videos of the live broadcast on chess.com, and Fabiano did such a superb job. Just awesomeness. Very educational. Rosalia, can you refill my coffee, please? Once again, my name is Chris Torres, and this is Daily Chess Musings. We are looking at highlights from the World Rapid 2021 for our lesson segment during the free winter break chess camp. Okay, so Fabi plays knight takes d6. Interesting choice, and you'll see why in a moment. So his opponent plays queen takes f4. And then you get knight takes e8, but it's knight takes e8 check, which is a very important detail because it is a check. Black must respond to that. Rook takes e8, queen takes e8. Knight to f3 check. Now Fabi must respond. Gx f3. And then bishop e5. Check it out. This is exciting. Black is just a move away from saying checkmate, right? With their queen. Just one move away from doing a nice checkmate there. But white's got something, and it's not defending. Right here, nope, Fabi plays one more move. And then black resigns because after rook at d7, I mean, what is black going to do? King b6 maybe, and then queen takes e6. You can, king b5, right? And then rook b7, and then king a5, and then Roro. What did you trip on? The rolled up carpet there?
Something.
Yeah, queen b6, careful. King a4, and then of course queen a6 checkmate. So I thought this was a terribly exciting finish to the game. Let's go back to where we started this. Yeah, it was right here. So black plays queen takes e4, Fabi plays knight takes d6, and then queen takes f4. See, that loses the bishop, but then Fabi gets to take with check. And now we have this cool position where black is one step away from checkmating. The great Fabiano Caruana. However, it's white to move, and white has a forced mating combination. Their mating, Fabi's mating combination is what, like 8 moves, 9 moves, but and black's is just one move, but it's white to move. All right, let us proceed to our 6th game. These are just some cool highlights, things that I thought were neat when I was playing through these games over the last couple days. In our 6th game, we've got ourselves another World Championship contender. Long time ago, and you can find it. You can find it on the Daily Chess Musings blog. Go to dailychessmusings.com. Type in Boris Gelfand. Gelfand. Boris Gelfand. And you'll see that I looked at his World Championship match against Anand a long time ago in a galaxy that we are in, not far away. Boris Gelfand played Viswanathan Anand to try and get the World Championship title, and did not defeat Anand, but gave it a big effort. So we've had 3 World Championship contenders in a row. Three players who have taken part in World Championship matches. And let's see. So we're going to position after white's 35th move. I'm a big fan of Boris Gelfand as well. He's always been just a great chess player and a good sport, nice guy. All right. And okay. I see what I'm saying in my notes. So position after let's back up one more. So white goes into, kind of full turtle mode, brings the rook over to defend everything. How do you crack this defense, right? How do you break in here? See, white's got their defense set up. I don't know why that arrow's like that. How do you break in? How do you crack this turtle shell? Let's see. I'll give you a little bit of time. This one's not too hard. Checks, captures, and threats, ladies and gentlemen. Checks, captures, and threats. If you know the answer, go ahead and type it into the YouTube chat. If you don't, that's okay. If you're watching this video at a future date, you can always pause before I give you the answers, right? You can pause the video, stare at the chessboard, try and solve it. You should be able to solve this one using checks, captures, and threats. This is a kind of a basic tactic at a grandmaster skill, though. It's a little bit more involved, but it's still, just kind of your basic tactical ideas. Let us see. All right, so Boris Gelfand says, kapow! Rook takes F3. And the reason I think this is cool is because, notice, the rook is stopping white's queen from saying checkmate, right? In the 8th rank. The only thing stopping it is the rook. And Boris Gelfand uses that rook to take, because the rook could always go back. It could always go back now. So white plays h3. And then what does Boris Gelfand play? Of course, rook takes h3. Kapowie, zowie. If gx h3, then queen h2, right? It wasn't played in the game, but that's how it would finish. Okay, getting some messages otherwise. And let's see. I mean, was there anything else black could have done other than, white could have done other than h3? I mean, they could throw in the check, right? But it's not going to help them so much. Because if they did play the check, then that interposes. They could try and bring the queen back to defend, right? But there's one problem. There's one problem indeed. Well, there's two problems. As I was saying, there's one problem. There's actually two. There's two problems. The first problem is the more obvious one, and that is E2. I mean, how are you going to stop this problem? How are you going to stop it? You could try... I don't know. Not without losing the queen, right? I don't know how you stop the queen. You got two different threats here, and I just don't. There's just no good solution to that. Alternatively, we could. This is the second problem that didn't occur to me right off the bat. But if you take the queen, and then, well, I mean. I was even thinking about moving the rook up and over and threatening checkmate. But then the white rook can move out of the way. So better just to, again, push the pawn forward. Play e2. And then what can you do as white? I mean, we can just kill a move anywhere. And then rook f1. And black's going to win. So let us go back to where it was really cool in here. Here we are. Shielded, breaks the shield, and then the rook sacrifice, which if white accepts, checkmate. Some good stuff from Boris Gelfand. Let us now go forward to game 7. Game 7. In game 7, we've got Sinan Shugarov versus Lucas Van Foreest, not Jordan. A lot of us are used to Jordan Van Foreest, Lucas's older brother, but Lucas Van Foreest is also a grandmaster. So very talented family there, the Van Foreest family. And their name is spelled V-A-N-F-O-R-E-E-S-T. Many of you might remember from my episodes of Tata Steel. Jordan Van Foreest played a lot of good chess at the Tata Steel tournament. So what do I have in my notes for this? Let's see. Position after white's 31st move. Let's see. Okay, so what was white's 30? Okay, so white's 31st move is stepping out of check. So this one's not so hard. I bet you a bunch of you can also solve this one. These last two are much more just the stuff you should be able to do. The stuff you gotta just do some tactical puzzles and focus on checks, captures, and threats, and you'll learn to do these. What is Black's game-winning idea? You tell me. What did Lucas Van Foreest do? Again, my name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. We are looking at the World Rapid 2021 and some highlights from the tournament. And we are doing this live as a live lesson for the participants of the free winter break chess camp. And these are just some unique highlights, things that popped out at me, things that caught my eye. Maybe if you, and you know it's a good exercise, if you want to go to chessgames.com, they have a nice database there. You can click on the link for the World Rapid, and you could like play through all the games if you want. I played through, 180 or so last night alone. Yeah, last night alone, over several hours. So if I look a little tired today, you know why. I'm doing double, triple duty. Let's see. Have I given you guys enough time? Have I given you guys... I see Wowyok is... Wowyok thinks Queen H2 here. No, we've got a better move than Queen H2. We've got, and you're right, Knight G3. Knight G3. He just changed his mind on that. And yeah, we played Knight G3. Not we. Lucas Van Foreest played Knight G3 check. And what can white do? Well, first, white resigned here, because if he moves forward, then you got Knight takes F1 double check, and then queen checkmate, right? Simple stuff. But what if knight takes? Well, if knight takes, then you've got bishop takes G2, king takes G2, then queen takes G3, king F1 or H1, and then queen G1 checkmate. Yep. Let's look at that one more time, because that's the more detailed. So back here we are. Knight G3 check, king H2. No. Knight G3 check. I'm a little tired today. Knight takes G3. And then here's where you gotta be able to do the checks, captures, and threats clearly. Bishop takes g2 check, and that's you know, king takes g2, queen, and then boom. Very nice finish by Lucas Van Foreest, younger sibling in the talented Van Foreest family. Let us go to game 8. This is kind of fun, guys. I'm a little tired, but it's fun. Position after black's 31st move. Oh boy. So we're going to see another world championship match contestant. Another guy who lost to Magnus Carlson. In this game, we're seeing Peter Mikhailik versus Sergei Karyakin. Peter Mikhailik versus Sergei Karyakin. And we all remember the Sergei Karyakin match. That was the one played in New York. Also, you can see those games annotated on dailychessmuseums.com. Let's see. And I said position after black's 31st move. So, let's go. Fast forward. Black plays and knight takes b2. So, how does Peter, this one's not too hard. How does Peter get Sergei Karyakin to resign? I'll give you a moment or two. What do you guys think? Anybody? Again, my name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. Today we are looking at highlights from the World Rapid 2021, played in Warsaw, Poland. Some of these games were just played last night or the night before. This is fresh material. And we're doing this as a live lesson for our free winter break chess camp. Later on, by the way, I will put up all these puzzles on my blog. All these positions. I shouldn't call them puzzles. Some of them maybe are, but some of them are more just kind of positions. Worthy positions worthy of study. All right, so Peter plays knight d5. And Sergei Karyakin resigns immediately. Why would he resign immediately? Why would he resign immediately? Well, I mean, first of all, this knight is now threatening to say check and fork, right? In fact, I'm not going to draw the arrows to show the fork. I'll just highlight the two squares. That makes better sense, I think. So check and then fork, right? So you might say, well, can't you just like move the king or the queen? Well, certainly you could try. I mean, you could move the king, so there's not going to be a fork. But then, unfortunately, see, there's this queen h4 check, and that's bad because now if your king moves back, you got the fork again. And if the king doesn't move back, I mean, what other options do you have? Bishop h6, that doesn't work either. Queen takes h6, right? So you can't move the king. But what about moving the queen? Where could the queen go? That's a good question. Where could black's queen go? Bonus question. Whoop, let me, hang on. Gotta scoot back one move. Potentially, let's see. I am not playing today, Sid. We are looking at games from the top players in the world. competing at, you have to have a rating over like 2550 or something on one of the FIDE rating lists to have participated in the World Rapid Championship in Warsaw, Poland. So these games are way more educational than, I mean, you know, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun to play, students and campers, but these games are of high value, high value. So, I mean, you know, maybe the best move I could think of for the queen would be queen e6. But then that doesn't work either because knight e7. And then again, what are you going to do? You're going to move your king over here? No, because you got queen h4, right? And now you're going to get checkmated because see, boom, boom, right? Because the knight's taking. This knight is taking the escape square from black's king. So queen e6, you know, anywhere you go, you're either going to get checkmated or you're going to be ending up losing a queen. So very, very powerful move, which is why Sergei Karyakin resigned immediately. Boom! Karyakin resigns because of this stuff, right? There's just nothing. Black doesn't have anything they can do. So very nice move, Peter Michalik versus Michalik versus Sergei Karyakin. All right, and now let us go to our next position. Our 9th position of the day, if you're keeping track like I am. And we've got two players that I am not familiar with. There are a lot of strong players in the world. We've got Gupta Sankalp versus Stelios Halkias. Gupta Sankalp versus Stelios Halkias. And his last name is spelled Halkias. And position after white's 41st move. So let's move along. Ah, yes, of course. So Gupta Sankalp plays Rook Takes Rook, which is a huge mistake. How does black punish that mistake? This one's pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. You got an idea, Sid? How can black punish white's last move? Simple, but shocking. This game comes to a sudden end. Once again, my name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. We are looking at games from the FIDE World Championship, World Rapid Championship in Warsaw, Poland. And we are doing this for the free winter break chess camp that Daily Chess Musings runs. Give me a like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. It would be much appreciated. Go to chess.com, join our club. 2,000 plus players in the Daily Chess Musings Club on chess.com. And be sure to check out dailychessmusings.com for thousands of free lessons. All right. I've given you guys enough time. Obviously, black just plays queen e1, check. Kapowie Zowie. White resigns because forced checkmate, right? So, yeah. Even at the highest levels of chess, this is the FIDE world. Like I said, you had to have a 2,500 rating just to participate. Players make mistakes like this, and so you have to look at your checks, captures, and threats. We are all human after all. Stelios played queen e1, and Gupta resigned right away. All right, that was fast and easy. Let's go to our next example. Example 10. 10 of 12 for today. And example 10 is Bassem Amin versus Hussein Aziz, and or Amin Bassem. Sometimes they get the last names, first names mixed up. Again, I'm not familiar with either of these players, but they have significant ratings, right? Just to be in this tournament. And I need to say that again. I mean, everybody in this tournament is a very strong chess player. This was not an open tournament. You can't just show up and play. You had to meet FIDE requirements that were pretty high. And we want to see why. Why is that a mistake? Why is Black's 20th move, bishop c5, played by Hussein Aziz, a mistake? Who knows? My name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. We are looking at games from the World Rapid 2021 as part of the free online winter chess camp. You can find out more information about us by going to dailychessmusings.com. But before you go that way, please remember to hit the subscribe button. Help us out. You can also join our club on chess.com. 2,000 plus members in our community on chess.com. Very proud of these facts. We're about a year and a half old. And yeah, we've certainly, our community is fun and growing strong. All right, so bishop c5 is a mistake because white could play rook takes b3. And black resigned here because even if they take, right, then white's going to play bishop takes c5, and white's got significant advantage going into the endgame. So black thought, oh, I should be okay playing bishop c5 because I've got the knight, right? I've got the knight defending the bishop, and the knight's supported by a pawn. And white's like, no, not so fast. Now, I mean, they could also try playing, bishop takes, but obviously that's not going to work so hot either because the rook can come back and take. And then you're just up a bishop. So, again, simple tactics seen at the highest levels. You guys see these I see these types of tactics in your games all the time. In fact, just yesterday or any days I'm watching you guys play in your tournament games, we see tactics like this. And they're also occurring at the strongest tournament in the world right now. So, just, again, a lesson that you never outgrow tactics. All right. Our next game, whoa, we get to see Lucas Van Foreest again. Game 11 is Lucas Van Foreest versus Kirill Aleksinko. And this was played in round 3. Round 3. And let's see, what do I got in my notes? Position after white's 52nd move. Ah, this is a nice one. So white just played queen takes c4. What does black do? What does Lucas Van Foreest do? I'll give you a moment or two. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What does Kirill Aleksinko do? Lucas Van Foreest just played queen takes bishop. This is Kirill Aleksinko. What does Kirill Aleksinko do here? It's pretty stuff. My name is Chris Torres. This is Daily Chess Musings. This is our recap of the highlights from the World Rapid 2021, the FIDE World Rapid Championship. And we're doing this live for the free winter break chess camp. I'll give you another moment or two. Feel free to pause the video. If you're watching this at a future date, pause the video until you see the answer, because this one's pretty. Watch this. We actually have a checkmate on the board. A checkmate on the board. Kind of a rare thing in top level chess, grandmaster chess, right? Here's a checkmate on the board. Knight to g4, check. King h3. So the king steps out and is threatening black's knight. But knight e to f2, checkmate. The knight obviously is checking the king and guarding the other knight. It's a very, very pretty checkmate. Basically using just two knights, right? A checkmate with two knights. If your coach told you you can't checkmate with two knights, he's only partially right. On an empty board, two knights cannot checkmate a king unless, yeah. But if there's stuff on the board, two knights can deliver a checkmate. So knight g4, what other possibilities were there? I guess, you know, white could have tried playing fx g4, right? But then queen takes g3 is checkmate. And I'm kind of glad that I'm sure Lucas Van Voorhis saw this, and so when the check came, he went ahead and allowed his opponent to play the pretty checkmate. Since he was going to lose anyhow, might as well do it in beautiful fashion. So fantastic. I mean, oh yeah, I guess there was one other option, right? But again, that's a checkmate. So, but you know, the one that I think is prettiest is the one that was actually played in the game. Just beautiful. Just a beautiful. Let's look at it one more time. Check. Checkmate. Pretty stuff. All right. So now, on to our final one. That maybe is my favorite, but we're going to look at one more. Because no collection of games from this tournament would be complete without at least one from Magnus Carlson, right? So let's finish up with a Magnus study. And I want to lead into the key position starting at move 30. So let's get there. And then, okay, yeah. So starting at move 30, knight c4. Rook takes c2, and Harsha Bharat Thakoti, Harsha Bharat Thakoti and Magnus Carlson, or Bharat Thakoti, Harsha and Magnus Carlson. And let's see, Rook c1 check. Rook. Oh yeah. This is kind of pretty. Okay, now I remember what's going on here. Right. All right. So okay, Magnus Carlson is white. Here's a nice check. Why would black give the rook away? Because they get a fork, and they get it right back. Right. And then knight takes c1, and now here's the question: what does Magnus do here? This is a pretty tactic. This is a really nice little tactic. This is a Magnus kind of, what do you call it? He has a way of winning games with these little tricks like this. See it a lot in his speed chess. This is rapid. You know, it's not a bullet game, but what do you call? I'm trying to think of the term that I like to. It's like a a trick at an end of a game that a trap that your opponent can fall for at the end. There's a word I like to use, and I can't come up with it right now. That's all right. It's a nice little trap right at the end. So again, leading up to it, there's the fork. Boom, boom. And Magnus plays Queen A3, threatening the knight. Where can the knight go? Where can the knight go? Answer is, it is trapped. You might say, well, can't it just go to D3? No, see, Magnus knew he could play Queen A8, which forces King F7, and then Queen D5. Fork. So this is a Magnus level little trap right at the end. Little bit of tricky stuff right at the end. Nice little gimmicky tactic. It looks okay. It looked like black is okay here. This looks okay. And then Magnus, of course, spots the little tactical finesse. So the queen's threatening the knight. The knight's squares, the options for the knight. Can't go there, it would get taken. Can't go there, it would get taken. Can't go there. Would get taken. And so it looks like, yeah, you just go there. But see, there's a problem with the check and the fork. Some nice chessboard geometry there. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the highlights that I liked from the FIDE World Rapid event. I'll probably come back with some more during this camp because we're just kind of scratching the surface here. Like I said, I just pulled 12 from like the first 180 games I looked at. I could look at another 180 games and pull another 12 easy. But so educational and inspiring. It reminds us that the top chess players are brilliant, but also human. And it's neat to see both. It's neat to see their brilliance, and it's also neat to remind us that they're human like us. They make sometimes terrible mistakes as well. And you never outgrow tactics. You never outgrow tactics. This is the strongest tournament in the world right now, and we saw a lot of stunning tactical plays. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I was a little bit low of energy because I was doing. I've been trying to do a little bit too much simultaneously in too many directions. But I wanted to share this with you because I really, when I see neat things, I like to share it with the Daily Chess Musings community. All right, so please give me a like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to our channel. Check out dailychessmusings.com. I'll go ahead and do a blog post on this video, and that way you can have access to the puzzle positions straight away. And I will see you guys tomorrow for day 3 of the free winter break chess camp. So long.